Hello, good morning, and welcome to the International Plant Breeding Seminar Series that is hosted from here from North Carolina State University. It is a pleasure today to have Dr. Fekadu Dinssa from the World Vegetable Center. Fekadu is a breeder of traditional African vegetables, and he got his master's from the University of from Wageningen University in the Netherlands in crop science and breeding, and he has a PhD in plant breeding and genetics from Jordan University in Jordan. Fekadu is based in Eastern and South Africa for the region in Tanzania, in Arusha specifically. He is a national from Ethiopia and has both national and international expertise in improvement and conservation of vegetables and cereal crops for various agroecologists in the region. Prior to joining the World Vegetable Center, Fekadu worked at the CARDA, at the Ethiopian Institute of Agricultural Research and the Institute of Biodiversity Conservation in Ethiopia. And he managed regional projects involving Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. Fekadu is involved in the development of germplasm of various different crops, that has been used by national programs in improving their capacity to produce vegetables throughout Africa. Fekadu, it's a pleasure to have you here with us and to listen to your presentation. I'm going to stop sharing now and give you the floor if you want to unmute yourself and start sharing your screen.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Yes. Yes.
We can see you now. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for the introduction. It's my pleasure to talk to the international people on traditional vegetables. The presentation, let me move. My presentation is on African traditional vegetables research at the Research and Development at the World Vegetable Center in sub-Saharan Africa. I will see opportunities and the challenges. I hope I'm communicable.
Yes, we can hear you, Fekadu. Go ahead. No problem.
Yeah. So, but throughout the presentation, I will use just the term traditional vegetables, but also I'm referring to African traditional vegetables. It's not moving. Oh.
Now it's moving.
Yeah. I will be briefly. Oh, somebody moved. I will brief about World Vegetable Center. Then vegetable types we deal at the World Vegetable Center, opportunities and the challenges in traditional vegetables. Traditional vegetables breeding strategy we follow here, and somehow a bit of account of amaranth breeding program at the World Vegetable Center. WorldVeg in traditional vegetables development. We are research center, but what is our role in development area? Impact of research on traditional vegetables. Yeah, so World Vegetable Center was established in 1971 as Asian Vegetable Research and Development Center, focusing on Asian countries. It's a non-profit international public research institute. Today, we are actually taking a global mandate on vegetable research, and we are present in many countries now. WorldVeg operates from 5 regional centers with its headquarters in Taiwan. 3 of the 5 regional centers are in Africa. One is in Bamako for dry areas of West and Central Africa. The other center is in Cotonou, Benin, for humid coastal areas of West and Central Africa. The place I'm based now is Arusha, Tanzania, for Eastern and Southern Africa. And the other 2 are one in India, the other one in Bangkok, Thailand. Our headquarters is in Taiwan. WorldVeg holds the largest vegetable germplasm collection in the world. We conserved more than 60,000 accessions in our gene bank in Taiwan. And here in Arusha, Tanzania, we have more than 5,000 accessions. WorldVeg categorizes vegetables into 2 groups. Global vegetables grown worldwide, like such as, for instance, tomato, peppers, onion, many cucurbits. These are global vegetables. This is our classification of vegetables. maybe not internationally agreed upon, but it works for us. The other group is traditional vegetables, which are specific to a country, specific to continent, or even within a country in certain regions. So these are traditional vegetables in general. Their origin could be Africa, or they might have been introduced a long time ago from other continent, but became part and parcel of the food system of Africans. Until very recently, traditional vegetables were considered poor people's crop, poor man's crop, and they have been grown, used, conserved by farmers. Research and development interventions are very recent. This graph shows share of traditional vegetables in total vegetable consumed by different wealth groups. This is a study conducted in 2004, way back. If you see 1 to 6 on the horizontal, the 1 to 6 scale,
yes, we see it, Fekadu, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, the lower part is covered by, I don't know where to take this. Yeah, let me struggle like that. It's okay. So it is the lower part, like the horizontal is 1 to 6. 6 is the richest people, 1 is the poorest. So 40% of vegetable consumed by the poor are traditional vegetables, while this is only about 12% of the total vegetable consumed by rich people, the so-called rich people. The most important question now is, does this move away from traditional vegetables consumption as people get richer apply today? I don't think this is true today. Awareness about the nutritional value of traditional vegetables have been increasing, and many people are coming to their culture, their food system, and more knowledge about the traditional vegetables' usefulness really changed the mind of people. And I don't think that as people get richer, still ignore traditional vegetables. There are a number of opportunities I could list, and some challenges in traditional vegetables research and development. Opportunity 1 is world's focus on nutrition and food security. Sustainable Development Goal number 2. Traditional vegetables are important sources of essential nutrients. They contribute to nutrition security. So if there is a program like this on nutrition and food, I don't think still the world afford to ignore this part of the crop. By all means, in vitamin, in folate, in calcium, iron, zinc, the traditional vegetables are way better than the global vegetables. So you can see the antioxidant agents, how big in traditional vegetables. The other area is also traditional vegetables are food security crops. They are very important during food shortage in disaster hit areas to reach needy population urgently. Opportunities continue. World is focused on livelihood. Traditional vegetables are important sources of income for many people, particularly for women, and they are so continuously increasing, their importance is continuously increasing. I could show you this amazing picture on this slide. This is in Cameroon, in Western Cameroon, where African nightshade is collected for transportation to other parts of the country and also to nearby countries. You can see by all means of transport, farmers bring their produce to this center, and then they unload from saloon cars, from motorbikes, from pickups, and then load on big lorries, which are really waiting, lining up to get some produce to take to other parts of the country. So this is an amazing one. This was in 2017. I hope the trend must be even increased by now. But issues are there, like the post-harvest issue. All these crops are for food, so all these produce, but the way they have been handled, all questionable. The other area is traditional vegetables are good profit, have good profit margin. I'm comparing here from some project, African nightshade, amaranth, Ethiopian mustard, tomato, and maize. You can see the total revenue from tomato is very high, but the cost of production is relatively high. So the profit margin is more or less similar to amaranth. I'm not proposing or saying amaranth will replace a tomato. Tomato has a big volume, big production, and very important in our economy. But traditional vegetables also have value and the contribution, especially in areas where a small plot of land is available to people. The area of production is shrinking from time to time. From a small area, people can get good profit. Another opportunity I could say is traditional vegetables help diversify farm and diet, short crop cycle, leafy vegetables escape early onset of drought, late disease and pest outbreaks, because the vegetative part is consumable. They can be ready for harvest. For instance, amaranth within 3 weeks after sowing here. And if you get sufficient moisture for 3 weeks, you harvest something to eat. These crops reach needy population in natural and human-caused disaster hit areas, drought and flood-prone areas, and where civil unrest displaced people. So these needy people can really relatively use this as an option during during the time when there is nothing to eat. The other area is there have been misunderstanding about traditional vegetable. For some of them, like poisonous, like African nightshade, for instance, have been considered poisonous crop, but this is not true for all. So recent studies on African nightshade, especially Solanum scabrum, indicates the safetiness and the high micronutrient richness of this crop. I have included a reference here. Traditional vegetables are no more considered weedy unless and otherwise they are out of their place, as it is true with others. And the traditional vegetables are really attracting scientists, donors, private sector, small-scale traders, relief and rehabilitation organizations, and farmers. farmers in some countries are really organizing themselves into market garden or association for traditional vegetable production. This picture is from Benin, Cotonou. They have a very good arrangement of associations. They call it market garden. This is traditional vegetables market garden. The plots you see is for the member of the association. That means there is a big interest in this area. Number of professionals involved in traditional vegetables are relatively increasing. Very recently, about 30 PhD students were trained in various disciplines of traditional vegetables by the support of BMZ, Germany. Horticulture Innovation Lab trained many people. Amaranth project supported by the Australian government, SSA, trained a number of students in postgraduate program. Universities in some countries like Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and many others, Sokone University here, Dar es Salaam University, many universities also come up with trained students. WorldVeg has participated in many of these training programs, short term, long term. We collaborate with universities where students do coursework in their country, in their university, and do the research work with us. We need inventory of the impact of our capacity building in the area of traditional vegetables. Otherwise, the number is higher. But whether they are still working on traditional vegetables is a question also. Some of the challenges, policy related, donors have been struggling. WorldVeg have been doing its best, and the WorldVeg participants have been doing, but traditional vegetables are not included in research and development programs of governments of many countries. There are good signs from Kenya, from some other countries, but at the largest case, this is not. How long research and the development on this crop really purely focus, depending on traditional vegetable, on project support. It also detail, when the national programs are not giving emphasis in this crop, the donors are also questioning themselves, and they have to follow the national programs. So support from donors is going to reduce also. How many national gene banks are holding traditional vegetable germplasm? Natural habitats of many traditional vegetables are getting lost, while alternative conservation measures are not available. Breeding companies, seed companies, these multinational companies are interested in hybrid varieties, but hybrid varieties are not yet in traditional vegetables, but there is potential in African eggplant already. So these all are challenges we still have to face. Will trained people get job in traditional vegetables research and development? What about post-harvest handling issue? You have seen the Cameroon case. A huge achievement could be obtained if we improve, but this is not the case in many areas. The seed system, the public variety seed system has a challenge also. In most cases, public varieties are available to commercial seed producers freely or under certain arrangement. WorldVeg developed improved variety lines, distribute to national agriculture research systems, private seed companies, public research institutes evaluate these lines in their target environment, release following their country regulation. And the seed increase is conducted by them, the early generation seed like breeder seed, and made available to commercial seed producers. Commercial seed producers produce commercial seed, market it, and there are challenges in this public-private partnership. The public partnership, the public sector probably increase basic seed of variety A, but the private sector or the commercial seed producer may need variety B. So there is completely a mismatch. We did some attempt to harmonize this, the availability, but it didn't work after the project. What we did, we were developing a computer system, an online system where seed companies put their demand, and then the public seed enterprise picks this demand and increase basic seed for these seed companies. But this is not working currently anyway, after the project finished. This is, by the way, in Tanzania, a program tried in Tanzania. Yeah, let me go to some brief traditional vegetables breeding strategy we follow at the World Vegetable Center. There are many traditional vegetables. You cannot even finish naming them. Setting priority crop is important for breeding program to focus. Amaranth and African eggplant are widely grown in almost all regions of Africa, except in North Africa. Amaranth serves as leafy vegetable and also as grain. The grain is becoming popular, increasing also, increasing demand, I see. African eggplant is used as fruit and in some cases as leafy vegetable also. For Benin, for instance, the leaf is the consumable part, but it is different from the one which is giving fruit. The two have been selected as strategic crops for breeding program at the World Vegetable Center. In these vegetables, in these two strategic crops, crossing is conducted to create genetic variability and the selection in segregating population. Then evaluate the fixed lines, distribute promising lines to partners, and the partners evaluate in their mandate area, or they include in their breeding program for further development. Breeding strategy for other crops other than African eggplant and amaranth. There are a list of them. African nightshade, which is very important, but because of resource, we are not putting the required emphasis on this crop. Spider plant, Ethiopian mustard, jute mallow, vegetable cowpea. All these crops are consumed in many countries. The strategy we follow to improve these crops are to make selection in the existing genetic variability. In the germplasm collection we have, we select best lines from there, evaluate promising lines in a participatory approach, distribute these lines to partners, private sector and public sector partners. A bit focus after this one is on amaranth, account of amaranth improvement at the World Vegetable Center in sub-Saharan Africa. Amaranth improvement was started with the establishment of World Vegetable Centers, Regional Center for Africa. The first activity was to collect, conserve, characterize, and regenerate. Then selection within existing genetic variability and evaluation following participatory approach, farmers' participatory approach. Crossing program was started later after we found what trait is missing in the population we developed from the already existing germplasm collection. Amaranth breeding focuses on 3 species and 3 use types. The species are Amaranthus cruentus, Hypochondriacus, Amaranthus dubius. Amaranth use types are 3: vegetable type, dual type, grain type. Grain type is questionable because more or less almost all grain types are also consumed as vegetable at their seedling stage especially. Some of the grain types are getting fibrous as they grow, as they get older, but at seedling stage, very delicious vegetable. I've never seen any grain type which is not consumed also as vegetable so far in my experience. But still we are categorizing, we assessed the grain type. But normally it could be included in dual type. 2 production systems are considered in vegetable amaranth. I'm talking now only vegetable amaranth. 1, direct sowing, direct dense sowing and uproot harvesting system. This is targeting market. This production is targeting market. Widely exercised in urban and peri-urban areas. And early growth vigor is very important. Very fast growing varieties perform here. 3 weeks to 4 weeks old seedlings are uprooted for market or consumption. You can see this beautiful picture, I hope. The second production system is raising seedling, transplanting, and repeat harvesting of the same plant material over time. This is mainly for home and school gardens. Some areas also use for market. It depends on which variety you are putting in this. Seedlings are raised, transplanted at certain density between plants and rows. Periodic cutting of marketable, consumable shoots and the branches. The number of repeat harvests goes up to 5 in some cases, it depending on variety, moisture availability, and the temperature of the location. Between 2 consecutive harvests, at least some 10 days is required. And participatory approach in tradition. Hello?
Yeah, now we lost you for a bit, but go ahead.
Yeah. We use gender disaggregated farmers participatory approach in traditional vegetables breeding. Actually, participatory breeding finds its place in traditional vegetables improvement. This is an area where the science world has less competence. We learn product profiles and the consumable part, the taste, the color that preferred by farmers, by consumers, from farmers, not from any literature. Literatures are building from this. So I could say this is the right place for traditional, for participatory approach. So some of our breeding objectives are as follow in terms of disease. We have important diseases which are very important, especially when we grow for grain or for seed production. For vegetable production, there is a tendency of escaping, especially the uproot system. You can clear it very quickly before any pathogen appears, except the soil-borne diseases like dumping off and the root diseases. So we have some important diseases for amaranth, Chonophora rot, stem rot, alternaria leaf spot, white rust, dumping off, very common in seedling stage. Bacterial wilt became one of the categories of diseases in amaranth, and this was reported for the first time in Benin. And we see some wilting here, but we were not sure, but it happened to be bacterial wilt. Fusarium wilt could be also another issue. Some viral symptoms are also coming up because of the white fly buildup, and in amaranth it is appearing. Many are important, like I mentioned, for seed and grain production. Insect pests are also similarly important when the plants are grown, kept for seed production or grain production. So you can see the yellow one on a very important variety we developed from WorldVeg Table Center line by Tanzanian Agriculture Research Institute. It is becoming very exceptionally susceptible to spider mite from all lines and breeding materials we have. Weevil, stem weevil, very important. So you cannot grow seed and the grain unless and otherwise you control this. Hybridization program involves both intra and inter-species crosses in amaranth. Crossing is conducted in a screen house. F1s are grown under farmers, under field condition, or we grow also in a screen house or greenhouse. Especially we control the branching system. They also control the maturity, the flowering date can be, as we reduce resource given to the plant gets stressed and then quickly give seed. So as far as we need the generation advance for F1, we can use this approach to speed up the number of months we spend to grow it. Crossing is conducted in, so I have already explained this answer. Some of traditional vegetable varieties released in different countries. The number of varieties released is really not known, I could say. It is only the ones we know that I'm reporting here. And the big problem we have is our partners are not giving us information on time. But since 1992, the establishment of the regional center here in Arusha, 14 amaranth varieties have been released in different countries. All are OPs. 11 African eggplant, Some of them are hybrid. At least 4 hybrid African eggplant varieties have been released by multinational companies, Rex One and East West. African nightshade 5, all OPs, and the Ethiopian mustard 2. These are maybe a kind of 1/4, 1/5 of the varieties available in the farming system already. In addition to breeding, we also do some research. So on amaranth and also on African eggplant, but due to time, I only focus on amaranth today. Assessing for drought tolerance, we assessed 6 amaranth genotypes from 3 species. So we found that Amaranthus dubius is highly important for drought, especially for heat. For drought, many of the differences are not visible at low moisture condition, and there's a difference only clearly coming when the growing environment, the moisture level improves. So, but whatever small difference at low moisture still reflects what is the difference at under most optimum moisture condition. So in many cases, it has been spoken that traditional vegetables are hardy crop and they are drought tolerance. But this is adaptation, adapted like amaranth in seedling stage. If you stress it, it immediately gives you seed, but not the required biomass for vegetable production or for grain production. For grain, the difference is a bit spaced, but completely the reverse. Those which are good for vegetative yield are poor in grain yield. This is because we combined the vegetable types and the grain types together and evaluated. Yeah, so the other area we attempted to have some knowledge about is heat tolerance of amaranth. Amaranth is known for its heat tolerance, but the question is that whether all species are the same for heat tolerance, or whether there are also differences among genotypes within a species and among species. 9 amaranth genotypes obtained from 3 species were evaluated in greenhouse with temperature as high as 69 degrees centigrade during some hours of some days, not all days, not all hours of the test. This is especially during midday hours. Wilt score have been taken 0 to 5. 0 is no wilt. 5 is leaf is shattering, and the leaf stems are scorched, and a complete collapse of the stem. So 2 species, Amaranthus cruentus, Amaranthus hypochondriacus, became very susceptible. Amaranthus dubius genotypes, there are 4 included in this experiment. They were all performed very well, but they did not produce flowers. They only flower buds, and then they collapsed. They didn't continue to produce flower, and then seed. The wilt score also correlated with shoot and root biomass and the number of leaves per plant. Amaranthus dubius plants produced very heavy biomass, but they didn't continue to flower and produce seed. What strategy we use if such condition is available for vegetable production? It is to use this type of genotypes for vegetable production in heat-affected areas to produce seed production in optimum environment. Seed production in optimum environment, vegetable production in heat-affected area, if that is the target vegetable production area. Characterizing lines for nutrient content also. In this case, this is a published document. We found Amaranthus dubius very high in zinc content as compared to other species, and also very good in iron content. So for heat tolerance, again for nutrient content, this Amaranthus dubius is very good species according to the study we did. WorldVeg in traditional vegetables development part. We are research institute, but unless and otherwise our product is moved into the hand of producers, farmers, we stuck and there is no demand for research. So we participate and we involve ourselves really heavily, I could say, in development part. We support quality seed availability by providing early generation seed. Any variety released from our breeding lines could be available for seed production if only seed is available, initial seed, early generation seed is available. So this is an issue in many countries and in many institutions. Once they release, the varieties get lost and the seed is not kept and no breeder seed is available. So we are replenishing this people with desired seed, like basic. We go up to basic seed multiplication. Also the volume is small. And we supply to private companies, supply to national programs, supply to public seed enterprises. So this is the way we increase our breeder seed. The other area we support is also technology scaling. Varieties are released. They are not produced by farmers because no one scales them, no one promotes them. So we have to get some project, collaborate with our partners, national partners, private partners, and push this produce to farmers, to producers. So this is one of the demo plot in around Morogoro, and this is a field day that is conducted by our partner, Tari Mekocheni. Tari Mekocheni is Tanzanian Agriculture Research Institute, which is the center is Mekocheni. Some of the impact of amaranth and the impact of African eggplant have been studied. I'm presenting that of amaranth here, very quick one. One of the weakness we still see in ourselves is that we did not conduct impact assessment of our research results. It is only very few of them that we, as an example. Amaranth was impact of amaranth in Kenya, in Tanzania studied. 67% of total amaranth area in Tanzania is covered by WorldVeg source varieties. And this number is 39 in Kenya. And it is understandable because our base is Tanzania, and every new material is quickly moved to farmers in Tanzania. In one way or another, we have to test also in Tanzania, and then the impact is high. Out of seed sold in 2016, 85% of amaranth seed was from WorldVeg breeding materials. The varieties were originally from World Vegetable Center. And this number is 44% for Kenya. I'm talking about partnership now, more or less towards the end. We value really a partnership, and all this we do with our partners, and nothing is done by alone. Our partnerships are with us at all levels. At germplasm development, national agriculture research systems are there, private seed companies are there, universities are there. Farmers are always with us because we are following participatory approach. For variety release, national research systems, private seed companies, universities. Some universities are also releasing varieties. A lot of varieties are coming from Kenyan universities, actually. Farmers and the regulatory bodies, those variety release regulatory bodies, seed regulatory bodies. Quality seed availability, similarly, the linkage of national agriculture systems, public seed enterprise, and private seed companies and the farmers is very important. Scaling, extension, NGOs, private sector seeds companies, and the national agriculture research systems. Vegetable production, urban and peri-urban people who are not formally farmers, but they are producing a plot of land for their home and also for market sometimes. So there are many people. If you go in Dar es Salaam, in Arusha, many urban agriculture, urban vegetable, I could say. Research areas. When we do research, we do with universities, advanced research institutes, and all. Yeah, so these are the partners. I'm just taking one example, partnership with seed companies, the private seed sector. We established African Vegetable Breeding Consortium in collaboration with the African Seed Trade Association. The member companies of this African Vegetable Breeding Consortium are member to African Seed Trade Association. Member companies benefit free participation in annual workshop. We have annually one workshop, early access to new breeding lines, reduced the tuition fee for participation in any special training program that World Vegetable Center may organize. The importance of the consortium is to make more efficient the variety development and the seed system. And many lines are moving into the hand of the private sector since we started this program. Yeah, with this, I would like to end, and I mentioned some of the materials I used. The first one here is, the link is a strategic paper for traditional vegetables research and development. The second link is about class selection environment. And the third one is about dual amaranth. What happens if farmers continue harvesting the leaf and allow the plant to grow, to set seed? So these are some of the references. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fekadu. We already have a few questions in the chat, and please, for those of you that want to pose any other questions, we'll try to forward them to Fekadu. The first question is, can anyone get early generation seed, or only seed companies can get it? For amaranth.
As far as any, but not individual people. As organized, okay. As organization, okay. Like producers, extension. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Tom here is asking if you are cooperating with other institutions that have germplasms, like IPK in Germany, and that have amaranth germplasm. Hello?
Sorry?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you repeat, please?
Yes, if you are cooperating with other institutions that have germplasm resources in amaranth, like IPK in Germany.
Yeah, we collaborate, but so far we have been focusing on existing germplasm collections from Africa. But in the future, we could request others from other sources also.
Okay. It's an interesting comment question here by Hiwan. The Misi from the Misi Tegu from Ethiopia. It says, do you have a center in Ethiopia? We have collected about 198 amaranth, 80 okra, and 188 brassica carinata section. We are based at HU Research University. His big problem is how to disseminate our research outputs as varieties, and he's pleading for a partnership with you. Okay.
Yeah, please.
So
we welcome any partnership. Yeah, in this research and development part, in amaranth or in any other vegetable types.
Okay. We make sure to include your contact information. Okay. Thomas here is asking, have you seen increase in traditional vegetable production since you started your work? If so, was this mostly due to improved trades, making the crop more viable, or was greater awareness of traditional vegetable the main reasons?
Yeah, both. We have been doing a lot on promoting traditional vegetables, and also we are improving. In improving them, in developing improved lines, we partner with our collaborators, our partner national and the private sector. So there have been several varieties. The ones I was mentioning are much better than the local varieties. In one way or another, the yield improved, the maturity improved. An issue we have still is to balance the seed production and the vegetable production. The first time we started the breeding program, we were focusing on vegetative production because we were looking for vegetables. But since recently, we came to know that seed companies are not happy with this, some of the varieties that are vigorously growing for vegetable yield, but they are very late. They stay very long time in the field, and also seed production is low. So we are currently working to improve this. Many of the population I have now are the cross of these varieties, already released varieties, by crossing with, for instance, with grain types. So both we improved traits, and also we improved the sentiment of people, how people view traditional vegetables.
Is there any interest outside of Africa to develop in the way that amaranth in the way that is used and consumed in Africa? That's a question from Charles.
Please, I didn't understand.
Is there an interest outside of Africa in developing amaranth as a vegetable?
Oh, yes, yes. By the way, currently, amaranth is getting exported to UK, for instance, from Nigeria. Because of globalization, people are traveling from country to country. You may be born somewhere, but you live in another place. So you are missing your traditional cuisine. So, yeah, so there is interest always. But amaranth in Asia is very common. Yeah, the type they need is red type amaranth. Amaranth, the amaranthus color.
Question I have, Fekadu, is the experience here in the US. When you mention amaranth, people immediately thinks about a weed. One of our major, most important weeds here is called pigweed, which is amaranth, an amaranth species. How invasive are these species? What is the risk in the case of Africa from those species becoming weeds?
Yeah, very interesting. It is very true. One should be very careful, especially in cereal belt, like wheat area, barley area, rice area. One should be very careful in handling this. The vegetable production could be done anywhere, but the remaining plant is sprout and then become notorious weed. And I always advise our partners whenever we scale, whenever we also get in a meeting. So it is very important, really.
Okay, well, hey, thank you so much. We are at the top of the hour, Fekadu. Thank you so much for your presentation. It's been amazing to learn about traditional vegetables in Africa and the work that you're doing and the work that WorldVeg is doing. I find World Vegetable Center a prime institution, even for graduate students that are here in the audience. Please consider World Vegetable Center as a potential a place to do a postdoc or get interested in that institution. Okay. Thank you so much. We'll meet again next week for our 5th seminar of this series. Dr. Lucas Mueller from the Boyce Thompson Institute will be talking about BreedBase, a digital ecosystem for breeding. Thank you so much for your participation. It's been great. Look forward to seeing you next week. In the meantime, have a great weekend. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.